Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio, radio, no pictures live stream. Please listen to this presentation as you drive along in your car, your truck, or put in those earbuds and listen to it in public transport. In this presentation, or in this essay rather, I'd like to talk about a few videos I've seen with black and brown affirmative action hired chicks who are hired into mainly white environments, and say into engineering companies. And so it's a mostly white male type gig, particularly in the more important performance type jobs. And these companies that of course rely quite heavily on government contracts, infrastructure building, things like that. The governments all over the Western world are putting a lot of pressure on these companies to hire, put a lot of affirmative action appointments in. We want to see a lot of black lesbians, that sort of stuff. Similarly, they're under pressure because if they take on these engineering firms as an example, other firms too, but I'll use engineering as the main example. If they win a big infrastructure contract, they have to arrange funding to be able to take on that amount of financial risk. And once they go to the banks or the Black Rocks or any of those sort of guys to get the funding or secure it or have it underwritten, whatever you like, then they come under DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion pressure again from that side. So they've got the government coming on one side saying, hey, we want to see lots of black lesbians if we're going to give you taxpayer money. And then the big finance is coming in on the other side saying, hey, if we're going to arrange your finance and support you financially on this project, then again, we want to see a lot of black lesbians too. So they're under a huge amount of pressure, a lot of these firms. They probably wouldn't do it if they weren't under such pressure. And bearing in mind that you need reasonably high quality people to do some of this work. And the engineering work, building a bridge, whatever. And so that doesn't mean that they're all high quality people. You still have laborers that are shoveling soil around and that sort of thing. So that can stay constant. But it's more at the executive for the engineering managerial level. That's the glamour jobs, if you like, the well-paid glamour jobs in the office, and that's got a nice view of Sydney Harbour or something like that. They're the jobs that they want to shoehorn the affirmative action people into, the glamorous jobs. They don't care about the shit jobs out in the middle of nowhere, building a road or a bridge or something. Don't care about that. So now, because of this, there's an increasing number of affirmative action appointments are taking place. Now, the engineering firms have done, I guess, a couple of things. Firstly, they've just created bullshit jobs that sound important, like assistant deputy vice president in charge of whatever, ass wiping or so. It doesn't, they just invent jobs, and then they can put the affirmative action people into that, which gives the impression that they're active in the affirmative action stakes. But this is something that the government and various organisations, NGOs and so on, have gone chasing after them. No, we want you to put black lesbians into the really important frontline managerial decision-making jobs. Now, this is where the problems start, of course, because by definition, if you've got to cut special deals and give special breaks and dispensations and wave-throughs and that sort of stuff, then someone isn't capable of doing the job. So straight away, it's a contradiction in expectation, understanding, and application there. So there's a number of black women, dark brown women too. So we've got black and African and Arabic and that sort of stuff in the mix here of women who are affirmative action hires. Now, it's not just that they were, they're quite capable people otherwise, but they just happened to get an affirmative action gig. It's not that. It's far worse than that. These are people that would have dropped out of junior high school. They just couldn't cut it even in junior high school. But the maniacal desire by teachers' unions and the entire affirmative action sort of industry is that we have to have equal outcomes. So it doesn't matter if the brown or black people aren't up to it. That is irrelevant. The equal outcomes is the issue here. And that's what we have to achieve. So they get waived through junior high school, then waived through senior high school, then given a gig in a university. And of course, the diversity industry wants prestigious universities. A third-tier university is no good. We want Ivy League universities for these people. Again, this is a quality of outcome, the quality of prestige and this sort of thing. But these people haven't worked for it. And even if they did work hard, most of these people have an IQ where they wouldn't have a snowball's chance of making it even through senior high school in a merit-based system. So they get into an Ivy League university, and then they're given something that's widespread now. It's called grade inflation, where simply because someone's I'll use the proverbial black lesbian as the sort of the point to illustrate here, but just because someone's a black lesbian, they get given a high distinction pass. So the very highest possible pass that you can get, first in the class, first in the year, the highest achievement ever in engineering, will inevitably go to the black lesbian. And if she's a Muslim as well, then hey, all the better. But so grade inflation, so you get the very high IQ, hardworking, very capable straight white male. He'll only get a distinction, but the black lesbian gets the high distinction pass in degree. So the highest pass, the highest grade you can get for the degree, and then they hand out PhDs like cheap candy bars on a street corner or something. So so when these people, they're ostensibly well qualified, wow. Now I've interviewed over the years. I've been on interview committees and so on that have been interviewing applicants for engineering roles, as it turns out, and other roles, but I'm thinking of the engineering ones in particular. And it's staggering to when I first saw it, I was shocked that you've got these brown women, for example, or white women or lesbian women, it doesn't matter, but people who manifestly are nowhere near the level required to have this engineering degree or the master's or the PhD or whatever. Nowhere near it, not even close. And yet they've got the highest grade pass in their degree. So this grade inflation thing's been around for a while. We're going to bolster your prestige and self-esteem by giving you a high distinction pass. So these women would sit in front of the committee, and they'd be asked basic engineering questions, volumetric type questions of if you've got to dig a hole, so deep and so wide, and how many cubic meters you get, the basic engineering, straight vanilla 101 first year engineering student type questions. And they would just shrug, well, I don't know, if I need to know that, I'll just get on the internet. Well, why are you asking me that? Who cares? And as and the response from these women which was about universal, I would say. None of the women, by the way, could answer the basic engineering. Not one could answer the basic engineering questions. Yet they all had the highest quality degrees. Ivy League university, top grade passes, and they couldn't answer the most basic questions. Yet, interestingly, every straight white male could answer those questions. Just to give you the contrast of the two types there. Clearly, all the women were given affirmative action degrees. All of them have. Maybe they uniquely suffer from some form of amnesia where they may have known it, but the day after they got their degree, they forgot it all or something like that. But look, let's call a spade a spade. It's affirmative action degrees. They were issued degrees without any sort of merit. They hadn't done the work. They didn't understand what they were doing. And their view was, why should I understand? Why does anyone need to understand? All that information's on the internet, and I can get that information anytime I want from there. Therefore, I need know nothing. And that's very much the information age. I don't need to know anything, because anything I need, I can get whenever I want it, which is really undermining the very basic notion that I have to work hard and study and show that I know this, engineering in this case, and that I have that knowledge that I can then apply in any. So, I mean, what if you're out in the middle of nowhere on a mine site in the middle of nowhere and there's no internet connection? What do you do then? and you can't access the internet, which is often the case with remote engineering, geological engineering, mine engineering, and so on. It's often the case. Or even if you are building infrastructure, say a road that's out in the middle of fucking nowhere or something, that would be the same. So anyway, these black women were complaining, and they're doing videos and putting on TikTok type stuff, and they're going online saying that they got a job. They were given an affirmative action job. So affirmative action, junior high school pass, affirmative action, senior high school pass, affirmative action, enter to college, affirmative action, college degree, affirmative action, top grade pass and college degree, then affirmative action, gifted an affirmative action job. So affirmative action, so from the age of 14 onwards, it's been nothing but affirmative action. And now she's 24 years old, and she's landed what would be considered a plum job, and she's only got an IQ of 90, and she's as lazy as fuck, but everything's been handed to her. So she's saying, well, hey, I've come into this, I've got this job here, but I'm surrounded by white people, and I'm feeling out of place here. I mean, she didn't have to accept the job. She could have looked and said, no, too many white people here, I'm not taking this job. But she didn't. She took the job. And she's not even recognizing or accepting the fact that numerous white people who were qualified were turned down and were pushed away just so she could get her job. She's not even acknowledging that fact, or even grateful for the opportunity that's been put at her feet. So she's saying there's too many white people here. I'm the only black. I don't know if she's a lesbian or not, but I'm the only black chick here, and so I'm feeling out of place. I feel bad. I feel that there aren't people like me around. And she said, but more importantly, she says, there aren't people around who think like me. She says, as a black chick, she can bring unique perspectives to the workplace, perspectives of slavery and oppression and racism, and she can bring all this woke stuff to the workplace. Why the workplace would need that's beyond me, but she can bring all that stuff. But other white people don't appreciate it. I mean, this is an outrage, as she puts it. And she's not the only one. There are numerous TikTok vids out there on this subject. So what's the solution as she sees it? Is it that she just forgets about all this wayciss white supremacy and then just gets on with the job? No. The solution is that the company, the business, has to get rid of most of those white people and hire lots of black chicks like her, because all the black people would understand the benefits that they all bring to the workplace. But again, she can't articulate what those benefits are. Lecturing white people on white supremacy is the benefit. I don't know. Is that a benefit? How is that a commercial benefit? Again, she doesn't explain that. But what clearly is happening here is she's realizing for the first time in her life that she is an affirmative action. She's just a product of the affirmative action machine. She's never built, produced, created, delivered anything. She's never even passed a test or an exam. She's never met an objective meritorious criteria ever in her life. Now she's in a situation where she actually has to do work, and the affirmative action, well, now she's got the job. That was the last affirmative action thing. Now she's in the job. The affirmative action's dropping off pretty quickly. I'd say, based on what you're saying, that she's still receiving affirmative. They're not putting, she's got a lower bar to meet than the white males do in that place. But they're expecting her to do some work, expecting her to meritoriously deliver, on various aspects of work that in an engineering environment. She can't do it. She doesn't like to go and ask white people, because they're the people around. She doesn't like to go and ask white people, well, look, I don't really know how to do this. Can you show me? And she gives the impression she doesn't give a shit. She thinks that she's entitled to the job. Seems to be more of the issue. And she's only ever known affirmative action. So why shouldn't she get affirmative action for the rest of her life? Why shouldn't she be made president of the fucking company, for Christ's sake? And because if she doesn't get that, then she's a victim of white evil, oppression, Nazi, fascist, da da da. So her solution is that they must hire lots of black chicks like her, and where all of them have a lower expectation. All of them are only bringing these unique, vague, abstract benefits that can't be described to the workplace, and so she can she can sort of disappear into the miasma of lots and lots of people who are also affirmative action. That'll make her feel better. But clearly the issue is that she's not getting as much affirmative action breaks, and the bar isn't quite as low as it always has been, a little bit higher. She is expected to do some work, and she's realizing for the first time, hey, I'm not up to this. I actually can't do it, and I'm feeling bad about it. But is the problem because I can't do the job? Is the problem because I'm not even attempting or going to try and improve my knowledge and capability? No, it's not that. The problem is the white people, and they're so wayciss. That's the problem, and that can only be addressed by getting rid of lots of white people and hiring lots of black chicks into jobs that they haven't earned and don't deserve. I mean, it goes a little bit further than that. I was talking to one of the operations people in an engineering company just recently, and she said it's if human resources department comes to every now and again, look, you need to get another black chick in your department, or another lesbian, or another this, and this either means they got to get rid of a white guy, or they've got to put out a job advert, on the internet job board or something, so purporting to be an objective job, but in reality it will only go to a black lesbian. But most of the time they don't even need to do that. There's a number of race hustler type agencies around the place, like employment agency type places, usually connected to NGOs, where they can just go to these people. Look, I need a black lesbian with one leg. It has to be African, and these people, yep, got it. We'll find one. And they've got these connections around to all the immigrant groups and race hustling groups, NGOs, people smugglers. They've got this massive network of connections, and if you want a black lesbian from Africa, bang, they've got you one. And in a few days' time, that person will be appearing, and you can give them a job. Now, she points out that nearly every one of these people that they hire, this quota hiring type thing, never works out. She can't think of one where it's ever worked out, where the person's still working there. They don't turn up for work. They're lazy. They always bring lawsuits for racial harassment. They always shake the company down for a payout. And a lot of them are getting, these people that have never had a job in their lives, they're getting payouts of $50,000 a lick. The company would rather pay that than have the negative publicity of you were racist towards a black lesbian and so on. This is how deep it goes and how wide it goes. It's just an indication of how rabid the destruction of the Western commercial sector, and indeed the whole Western diaspora, is, when this nonsense and silliness is everywhere you look. You've been fantastic today, your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening.